In this session, we're going to demonstrate how to input standards-based grades into the new PowerTeacher Pro gradebook. It's going to be very similar to the way it was done in the legacy PowerTeacher gradebook, but the benefit of having the new PowerTeacher Pro gradebook obviously is that you can do this from any web-connected device, including Chromebooks now. So there's a couple things to remember and to pay special attention to when beginning to input grades into PowerTeacher Pro. And the first is making sure that you're in the correct year and class. And as we had demonstrated in the previous video, you can do that by selecting from the drop-down menu at the top, make sure you're in the correct year and that you've selected the correct class. The other thing that's extremely important to remember is the term that you're in. This is critical in order for the grades and the comments that you're inputting to show up in the report card for that current term. And you could do that by selecting the term over to the right. And you could see that for the elementary we have term 1, 2, and 3. At this point in the year it's term 3, so I'm going to select term 3. Again, critical that you make sure you're in the right year, class, and term before you get started with entering grades. In order to input final grades for the students as a standards-based grading system, you're going to come up to Grading in the left-hand menu, and you're going to go down to Standards under the Grades heading. The next dashboard that you see will be a student listing on the left-hand side. Now I only have 2 students enrolled in this class. You obviously have more. And then moving to the right, you can see that you have the term reiterated, and then it starts with the standards. The first is actually the report card comment, which I'll show you how to enter that. And moving further to the right, you'll see all the standards as you have in the past, and you can hover over them. You'll see what they are. So that's a nice little feature of the new gradebook. As you hover, you'll see what the standard is. I'll show you another way to determine what the standard is more specifically using the show more detail option. A couple things to remind us of is that we are in the correct term, term 3, and for the correct class. Below that is the more detail area here, and I'm going to click into report card comment here. If you click show more, you'll see at the top the name of the standard itself, its code in PowerSchool, and you'll also see the description of it. You will also see the grade scale for that, and if you want to see more detail about that actual grade scale, you can click on the grade scale tab, and it will give you an identification of exactly how that grade scale is being utilized and what it means. And I've selected currently the cell for this first student for the CPS report card comment. In order to enter that, you would actually come in here and you'd put the comment over in the score inspector in the far right. You can enter your comments right there. Moving to the next cell to the right, this is for the, as you can see up here, the reading overall. And the grade scale that is currently being used is an A, B, C, N, and G, and here's what those mean. And you can either enter that directly from the keyboard into this box as such, or you can come over here to the score inspector and use these indicators as well. It will work either way. If you hit enter, it will take you to the next student down, and I can enter their letter grade or their score for that standard as such. Moving to the next standard, you can see that the grade scale has now changed. That's why I would recommend having this more details kind of open, especially when you first utilize PowerTeacher Pro, so you know what you're inputting for each standard, because the grade scales do change. Score inspector up to the right, I can enter the grades, and I can run right down the column just hitting the grade and hitting enter. This is especially nice if you're on a tablet. It pops out from the right and gives you a nice big touch interactivity to do such. You can also do it from a keyboard easily as well. So you can see we're just going to add these scores in. I'll run right down. And then in order to save your work, there is a save button at the bottom. You will need to click save. let the data save. You'll get the indication at the top that the data has saved, and now this information is ready for the report cards, obviously once you complete all of them. To see the additional standards, you see the little arrow on the far right here. I can click this to keep going all the way to the far right. And remember, as you hover over each one of these, it will tell you what the standard is for that item.